And my colleague Amit Mukherjee has been following this story. He joins us from the newsroom. Amit, is there enough unity in the Arab League, to present the United States with a viable alternative to the Trump plan for Gaza?
Well, Mark, very interesting situation. If you look at this meeting, in fact, this is not the first meeting of the Arab world. In fact, the last meeting had happened on the 21st of February, where all the leaders of the Arab world had gathered at Riyadh. It was a meeting which was convened by the king of Saudi Arabia. But it actually turned out to be a very, very inconclusive sort of a meeting, and nobody commented on it as to what was the outcome of it. Now, when approached Sheikh Zayed, who is the chairman of United Arab Emirates, he said it was a very fruitful meeting, but he never spelled out what came out of that meeting. So it was very clear. In fact, if sources are to be believed, people who were close to that development, they they pointed out the two main issues, which are actually, the main bone of contention out there is to, whenever the rebuilding of Gaza happens, who is going to control Gaza from the Arab world at that point in time, and what would be the kind of, what would be the modalities of the funding that would flow in the redevelopment of Gaza. And now again, this current meeting, again, it's an emergency meeting that has been called by the Arab world. In fact, last weekend we saw Trump coming up with, again, he kind of reiterated his plan to take over Gaza, and in fact he came up with AI generated images of Gaza, how the future Gaza would look like, sprawling malls, markets, and very elaborate beaches. It's more of a Las Vegas model that he is looking at. So now that has kind of again agitated, or I mean, if that has triggered a lot of panic among the Arab world, which is why this meeting is happening. So as far as the unity is concerned, coming back to your question, Mark, yes, no, there is no unity as to the basics, as far as rebuilding of Gaza is concerned, whether it's who's going to control that territory, or how would the financing to rebuild Gaza would happen. Mark?
Indeed, and talking about who's going to control, has the real negotiating position of Hamas weakened after the elimination of Hania and Sinwar?
Well, absolutely. If you look at the history, if I just talk about Yahya Ibrahim Sinwar, he was a highly motivated guy. He spent about 22 years in the Israeli prisons, and his release was actually secured in a similar sort of a prisoner swap in 2011. When Shilad Galid, one of the soldiers who was abducted by Hamas around 2009, his release was secured against 1,000 Israeli prisoners, and that number also included Yahya Sinwar. And he was not only a motivated guy, he was a master strategist, and he utilized the entire network of Gaza to plan what happened a year back, that the 7 October attack, which happened into 2023, where Israelis were abducted and taken away to Gaza, that was entirely designed and planned by Yahya Sinwar. So, and if you look at the whole thing, it was 1 year, and the kind of network, Gaza is a very limited space, but the way Sinwar utilized and planned the whole operation, Israelis couldn't get back their hostages even after a year. That shows the kind of meticulous planning and the mastermind strokes which Sinwar had played when it came to orchestrating the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. Mark?
Yeah, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Amit Mukherjee, for joining us with those inputs and the background.